Hello. Hubby and I are just sitting here talking, discussing hours of different things, and felt like we just wanted to place this on a recording for our future generation and maybe anyone else that could benefit. We don't believe we have all the answers, but we feel as though we see things a little clearly, and we do notice attention to detail and have good observations on things.
And just as decided to discuss a wide variety of topics that affect and involve the black and brown community, and just do something together as married people that's in love happily. Communication and a lot of things is what's missing, and so what better way to communicate than with my wife and do this together. Just a little hobby. So whenever you want to talk about an issue that's something you want to talk about, let's do it.
Well, just to jump right in, the thing that's been the most important lately is how black and brown tend to disrespect each other and are quick to criticize each other in a way that doesn't promote growth, self-growth, growth within the community.
And I noticed though that with things that happened throughout history, and most recent was the police brutality, police shootings of unarmed black. So on one hand, you got some black people who don't want us to express our outrage for the injustices going on. So, and then you got one hand who does, and it's always a tug of war of we should do this, we should do that. And I noticed the other races don't do that. Like Asians don't make each other feel bad despite having disagreements. Hell, unless you're North and South Korea, but other than that, I don't see a lot of Asians going at each other next. And there is Asian on Asian crimes, just like black on black crimes. So,
right, instead of coming together and at least picking each other's brains and learning from each other. We are all different, and we're all going to have different perspectives, but we spend too much time being jealous and nitpicking at the wrong. We're missing the point. We're looking at fake news. We're looking at things that are distracting us from being able to solve the problem at hand. And the whole police brutality situation stems from what people are forgetting, I believe, which is it started with slave control. It started with how can white people have control over black people, basically. We know how it started. And we spend too much time focusing on, black people are doing this wrong today and doing that wrong. And we're still distracting ourselves and distracting each other.
The hate that we have for each other, or jealousy, I noticed it in Django Unchained. Great movie. I didn't really like it all that much, but the cast was okay. But the whole plot story, didn't like it. But one part that I noticed was when Jamie Foxx was going to get the Brittle brothers, I think. I'm not sure. But he was on a horse, and there was another black guy looking at him in a jealous, hateful way. And you can tell that things like that, seeing another black man ride a horse, builds hatred. Right. And but it's just things like that I noticed in the movie. Right. Not to just make it about that movie, but that one little part I noticed, that's where that hatred built up. I mean, again, with Asians building the railroads, when was there a time where you seen an Asian look at another Asian with hate?
Yeah.
It just don't happen as much.
Oh, yeah, we were, since the beginning of being brought over here through slavery, it was the part of the plan was to hold us back, to keep us back. And another part of that plan was to make us jealous of each other, to make us hate each other, because if we start to get along with each other and we're not looking at ways to hate each other and be jealous and be divided, then we're not going to progress. And I believe that they know that. They know that. And that's why I believe there's a lot of undercover black, there's white people pretending to be black people on these, social media platforms. And they're pretending to disrespect other black people to make it look like we just can't get along. And that's why I posed a question to you the other day, like, what? I'm kind of nervous when I come across another black person out in public because,
you don't know what they believe.
Yeah, like, and I don't want to come off as any kind of way disrespectful, jealous, or like I'm better than them or anything. But if I just wanted to just say, hey, I wouldn't want them to look at me a certain way, which is why, when I hear people say, man, whatever choices that you make, just be at peace with it. Well, just like the current vaccine situation, I don't want to be standing in line getting my vaccine or talking about, yeah, I got it, and have someone who's black who doesn't believe in it because maybe they are paranoid due to certain things and things that I can understand, like the Tuskegee experiment. That gets brought up a lot.
But that comes with getting low quality information, believing something that's on the net that supports your theory. Hell, you can find anything on the internet that supports your theory. As we like to say, the rabbit hole.
Yeah, you can. But I wouldn't want a black person to just look at me and say, oh, she got the vaccine, she's ignorant, or she
believes anything.
Yeah, like, just let me have my peace. And, you never know what we can do together, what we can accomplish together. And I don't know how it just seemed like it spiraled out of control lately, especially with just the past 4 years before the pandemic happened. But with the pandemic happening, it allowed more people to stay home and build this hatred and use social media to find different ways and reasons to just hate each other and nitpick. And you see a good video about somebody who maybe stood for a cause, and then you watch the video, and it could be any celebrity, any African American celebrity. They would say, hey, this is what I strongly believe in. And then you go to read the comments, and you have all these people that, either they really are black, or they're white people pretending to be black with a profile picture. And you see more black people publicly criticizing other black people, like, oh man, he's stupid, or she's stupid, or or calling people coons, or just saying the worst of the worst.
More black people call out Obama than I've seen white people call out Trump.
Yeah, me too. And that's one of the many things holding us back.
Because this is not going to be a political topic, but I didn't like a lot of his policies, but I'm not finna go out there and just talk about him, because how's that going to look if I talk about him?
Yeah.
They gonna look at it like, see, they can never get along, and I just don't see them doing it.
Right. Like we wanted a black president for so long. It took us to the 44th to get one. Finally got one, and we're still not happy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name any names with the interview, but it was an interview Aries Spears did, and he was talking about how it's a marathon, not a sprint, of how we are supposed to get ahead.
Yeah, pass the baton to the other person.
Yeah, exactly. And so he made good points. Like, just don't support him blindly just because he's black. I mean, I'm not pushing that agenda, but that's our first black president. Let's give him his props. Now, again, he did a lot of things that were questionable, a lot of things that I turned my head on, but I'd be damned if I was going to go out there and just talk about him. Yeah. Because to get a few likes, to get people to tune in on my social media account.
Yeah, and I think people are using social media just for the wrong reasons. They want to get the likes, they want to get attention, they want to become famous, they want to use that, it seems, for more wrong than good. And it seems like it's really harming our community. It's really affecting and hurting us, because I'm not seeing us come together. I'm seeing us say hurtful things about each other, call each other names, say that even recently with the George Floyd trial, and Everyone seemed like they wanted it to go a certain way. Well, some people wanted it to go a certain way. Some people acted like they didn't care. And I was just relieved to know that he got tried and found guilty. And I wasn't like excited and celebrating like, wow, this is like the best thing in the world, because I knew that we still had a long way to go.
Right.
But it seemed like black people were looking to find other black people say that they were just a little excited just to quickly jump on them. And that's little things, little statements seem to blow up and cause tension when white people are laughing at us, and I don't blame them, because we just can't seem to find common ground no matter what platform we're on.
Right. I mean, it's like the Emmett Till thing. Different situation with a cop, but nonetheless it was a white person. It's not to bash on white people. It's not to talk about racism or make it seem like we're talking about all white people. This is just situations that have happened. But when you think of the Emmett Till situation, nothing happened to the white lady who said he whistled.
Right.
Nothing. So when they got away scot-free, what was we wanting to happen?
Yeah,
the police obviously didn't help to give us some peace, some justice.
Yeah.
So when we got this on video camera years later, and then this cop gets found guilty, you got some black people out there saying, ain't nothing gonna happen. Whoop-de-whoop-de-woo, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe, but it's okay to be just a little excited.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Because don't forget, Rodney King, all 4 cops scot-free.
Nothing happened.
And so it just seems like there's always a reason to complain. And don't get me wrong, not all black and brown people are like this, but it just seems like the moment we get a little bit, like we get a black president, we get somebody tried and found guilty, we get just a little bit of a winning, and we can't celebrate. Shame on us for celebrating. We're stupid and we're coons for celebrating. We get the vaccine, we're stupid. We decide not to get it, we're still stupid. It's like there's no winning, and it's not nothing is ever going to change unless we look at ourselves, take accountability, stop being jealous, stop looking for reasons to be hurtful to our brothers and sisters.
Talk more about the solution than the problem itself. It's like we're in a rush to talk about the solution. I mean, the problem more than the solution. We want to get credit for bringing the problem, which is questionable because we tend to get low quality information, and the lie spreads more than the truth. It's more entertaining, so we talk about the problem more than we talk about the solution.
Okay, everybody wants to eat. Everybody wants to have some kind of position where they're making money and they're doing something and they feel like they're. But what's very scary is that there are people out there, unfortunately, just like us, that are just doing more harm than good. They don't really care. They may say that they do, and then they'll say something else like, "Oh, the military is going to knock on your door," or it's just it, or we're going to turn into reptiles, or I mean, we really have to take a look at reality in common effing sense. Common sense is some of this stuff that people are saying and believing is just far from the truth. And the further we go from the truth, the further away we go from actually getting better, from actually growing. And, where are people talking about finding true love, finding a stability, finding a stable spouse so that they can have stability in their household? We can't keep blaming others.
Right. And it starts in the household.
We spend more time talking about each other as opposed to talking about what we need to do for our children. And that there's no growth. We're still letting the media raise our children.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So I would love to see more platforms where people are talking about not just the problem, but the solution as well. And that's one of the main reasons why we're doing this together as husband and wife, been married for a really long time, have had ups and downs. It's not perfect, and we're not here to brag, but we're here to educate and to still be educated. You know, there's always room for growth, always room for self-improvement. And I wish that we, as a race, as a culture, I wish that we would educate ourselves more, as opposed to just looking for fake news or looking for people to give us insight, like, oh, I'm going to watch this person's, YouTube channel because they seem passionate about something. No, do your research. Be as smart as you know that you are. Read books. If you can't get access to that, the internet is full of legit resources to find your, learn about your history.
Right. Know your history, and communication is a big key. With communication, you can go a long way. Mm-hmm. So I just want to just put my two cents in and put emphasis on communication. But real quick, I wanted to give a big shout out to other channels that inspire us or inspire me that I subscribe to, which is D.L. Hughley, Comedy Hype, and I believe it's Hip Hop Uncensored. Of course, Nori Drink Champs. That's all I got for right now. Just a few, but check those channels out because those are ones that are pretty fair and balanced, no bias. That's all I got.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to just all the African Americans out there, all the black and brown together, with different shades of melanin. Let's continue to rise. Let's continue to educate ourselves and better ourselves, and not look to disrespect each other. If we see that someone needs to be educated, let's do it with respect, with love. And that's all I've got. We'll catch you next time.